Let's do this thing. What up, viewers? What up, what up? I am continuing my playthrough of Disco Elysium. I believe I was exploring the docks last time I was playing. It has been a minute, so it's going to take me a minute to get back into it. But yeah, I was exploring the dock. Did I write down in my... Where's my game journal? Did I write down what I was doing? Do I have any objectives? Besides, explore the docks, find your badge. Get out of here. Oh, I got to talk to the smoker tonight. Yeah, I crossed the bridge. That's all I got. Okay. I think we're just in exploration mode. Should be good. Right. Continue wherever we left off. I believe I just gotten a bird. You know how you just get a bird? Okay. Looks familiar. Zoom. Look how far I can zoom out. I can walk up this? Oh, I can't walk over here. Alright, there's a bunch of drunk people over there. Oh, I got a new house! Little black swallow circles above you. It's cheer up. Some money over here. Like swamps? Water runs from the west, the source is upstream, a broken pipe? Ugh. Rust-eaten letters, Mazut. The rear tire of a motor carriage adorns the reeds. Quick travel, I've made it to a church? Oh, there's a wooden bridge. Walk across? This place sucks. Looking back at you from the rust-colored water, you. What's going on with this church? Right? Can I like go behind these houses? Anything out here? Money! Alright, what is up here? Is this the church? Looks like a church. A dude and his son?
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
The blonde man standing next to his son, pointing at the weather-worn ruins. He sees you approaching and smiles.
You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Heilostam. You must be Kim Kitsuragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
Oh, what?
Nice to meet you.
Hold on. Yeah, hyper what?
Yes, hypertext. Young Carp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
No, carve in the collection. What? Wait, what was that about the windows before?
Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall.
Hey, you and Kim know each other?
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
He rests his hand on the boy's shoulder. The child stays hidden behind the hem of his father's coat, clutching to his worm-themed coloring book.
Mikhail's a little tired today.
Worm?
We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into Worms lately.
Worms?
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
Huh.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
What's the building again?
This man is your half-brother. You feel it. But why? Well, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
What's so fascinating about an empty old building?
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building.
He raises his hand to his eyes, springtime sun warming his handsome face. All four of you turn to admire the mural before you.
What not a lot of people know is this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Hold on. What's R&D?
Look at the building, one of you.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
I don't think I've heard of this failed electronic.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains.
He adjusts his suit jacket.
They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve. I'm mixing my metaphors here.
What was the ace?
It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer.
What's a tape computer?
An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer. Which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM,
ICN?
haven't achieved yet.
He grins, admiring the sentence he just produced.
He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the
What
wind.
happened?
Indeed. What?
The revolution!
Roy wipes his nose on his sleeve.
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins.
He pauses, pointing to the other building, then continues.
All of this was built by Feld, even a boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D.
You're saying that Phil built
Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A pleasure
Yeah, what
wheel?
the heck? Lieutenant looks wistfully at the horizon as if picturing gondolas rising to the sky.
Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory. It's clear he would prefer there were a big wheel, lighting up the coast.
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans.
What happened to the engineers and the company people?
Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers...
What did the revolutionaries do with the advanced tape computers?
They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases. The most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars.
What was that?
What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02.
A
40 years ago?
short-lived legislative foundation for a short-lived utopia.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bon Baiser dans ce Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the
How
discussion.
did those tape computers work? Did they work like radio computers?
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, They were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
Raises his finger, remembering something.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Wompty Dumpty Dum Center in
Dumpty
Vaderford, Oranje.
Dum Center.
It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Juice joined the team, trying to...
What?
Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? He did it. He said Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center, like it's the most natural thing in the
Yeah,
world.
what?
What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Juice?
Okay, the Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center, Paul Ackerman, Keith and Guy Juice. What are you talking about?
The Wompty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Art. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose to...
Come on, there's no place called the Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center of Arts.
Actually, I think there is. No, it's too much. He's joking.
In fact, I'm not. The Wompty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center.
Okay.
But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze the handwriting, perform operations, and project output onto a white screen. It was a beautiful, delicate thing.
Cool.
Very, very cool. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to this precious device. But so they did. The felt playback experiment vanished into the fires of '07.
Why did the revolutionaries destroy it?
Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building.
Takes a step back, the boardwalk creaks mournfully in the wind. I wanted to ask you something else.
But of course, what else?
You look like someone who has money. Do you have any money? Great, thank you for the interesting information.
No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
Thank you, sir. Another power box that charges nothing, it's empty. Oh. There's some money. Fence blocks the path, no way out. Way on from here. Cars cover the long, dusty windows. Oh, I can get to the roof? Interesting. There's a hole in the fence.
Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It smells really bad.
Take a closer look.
It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. A dangling arm suggests that there might be a jacket beneath the crust of filth.
Ugh.
It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry out. Unfortunately, that just seems to have stiffened it into a shapeless mass.
Please tell me you're not taking that with you.
Might be a clue.
It's a guano-encrusted jacket, and you're already carrying around enough as it is.
More money. Makeshift root vagrants must have tried to take the boardwalk habitable. Perhaps needs to keep out neither rain nor snow nor wind. Oh, another postcard. Coin-operated weighing machine hasn't been used for a decade. Wait, do I have any points? I do have points. tracks? Oh yeah. It's Wednesday evening and something heinously exciting is underway. People have been gathering beneath the billowing roof of an oddly shaped trophy building. I want to unlock one of these? Yeah, why not? First, let's take this absolutely clear. No one is saying you're actually a superstar in this group. In the groupies and cocaine riddled with hepatitis C, strike a lioness pose with a mic kind of way. You're not Guillaume Lemillion or Davy Dewis. No, you're a metaphorical superstar. You bring the rock and roll authenticity and passion to a line of work where people don't expect or want to see it. Where some would say it doesn't belong in law enforcement. The edge of the map of the landmass begins to disintegrate into pure trigonometry. The ocean melts, becoming a tangled mess of sines and cosine. The mountain range turns into a sharp angled azimuth. Its green rain shadow dithers like music turning into a waveform and then vanishes. This is the end. A half-remembered textbook from your child. The porch collapsing on the edge of the isola. Transition from reality to pale. A single vector shoots out like a rocket. It's the midway south, splintering off from the known pale. To where? Where does it go? Put that on. Prescription glasses. Vagrants have recently painted the tarp red. Water drips from it. What are these glasses all about? 2 encyclopedia, but -1 perception. These idiotic ideas, square and beige plastic frames anyway. Beige is the color not look good on anyone, not to mention that seeing the world through the exceedingly thick lenses seems almost nauseating. Must have worked hard to smash the plastic dome. Dead phones, smashed receivers. Like someone hung that up too hard. A kick drum pulse. The music is coming from somewhere on the ice. Goldfish huddle around the fence post, then scatter into the dark. Full of holes, someone could post. Could the post hide treasure look inside? Interesting. Who lives in this house? Or are you a drawbridge? It can only be lowered from the other side. The shadow of a very large building falling on you. Dusty pews in the shadows beneath you. Many seem to be missing. Okay. Money. Altar shrouded in dark or something like that. It's too dark to tell. Sign reads St. Brune, 1147. Alright, looks like we're going to church.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
The doors to see if they open.
Nothing happens, only the sound of the padlock rattling against the door.
I don't think that's going to work.
Inspect the carpentry.
The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. Two large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the wood before they reach the threshold.
Run your hand over the beam.
The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the touch.
Take a look at the padlock.
This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple screwed into the wooden door. The lock is adorned with a yellow sticker.
The sticker.
You see a yellow circle with two X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but what the symbol depicts is clear enough. A smiling dead guy. The curve makes it smile, and the X's make it dead.
Take another look at the padlock.
This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple screwed into the wooden door.
The staple.
The padlock passes through a staple that's been hastily attached to the wood. Closer inspection reveals that one of the screws is not a screw at all, but a nail. The work has been done recently and is unprofessional, to say the least. Should you want to get through, it might be easier to just pry the whole thing off.
And this is where Mr. Prybar comes in handy.
This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple screwed.
If you really think we should get in there, we need to find some other way.
We start with the kick drums somewhere up on the ice. I'm not actually interested in the church right now.
It does seem rather irrelevant to our case.
I put on my interfacing gloves.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock.
If you really think...
Let's save real quick. Just in case it kills me. Don't want to talk to...
Heavy
Do it
wooden
again.
doors, more than twice your height, stand shut. There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb.
Put the sticker in your ledger after the last entry where it belongs.
Looks like today was a gold star day. The padlock passes through us. Should you want to get through?
Maybe we should circle the building first and look for another way. The building has seen enough mistreatment.
There is a touch of guilt in his voice.
Yes, the pulsing base. A sure sign of junior delinquency.
Alright. He wants me to look around, I'll look around. Chain trails off into the ocean, who knows to where. Rusty gears used to turn the whole machine. Building before you housed the engine. Must have been a big one. Okay. Barrel has been recently discarded. Smells of fuel oil. Is there a tanker that like freaking exploded around here or something? Cigarette butts cleaned away under a rock. Brand turmetry. Take a mental note. Turmetry seems important somehow. Was made camp by here a long time ago. Rusted broken control box for the radio relay tower. Ladder seems too rusty to climb. The air seems to have eaten away from it. Relay coordinate towers. Boat traffic in the bay barely. Another tie? And then out there, far distance where the post trails onward. Scarf? Allergies. I mean, I can cut chain, right? cast a long shadow over you. What is that? Sure. Rhetoric. White polo. I guess I have to go in here, right?
An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. The door hasn't been opened in a long while. You see a handle.
What's in this thing anyway?
It's military. A service depot of some sort.
What service you do?
Probably something that is no longer there.
Hmm. Okay. Definitely seems like a safe down kind of check. Do I around? Okay, just go through, go under this way. Just don't be dumb. Is that what we're hearing? Must have taken a lot of patience to do this. Painted with pastels, someone is trying to bring cheer into the world. Hello.
A shaggy-looking girl in her late teens or early 20s kneels on the ice with an electronic contraption in her hand. Hearing you approach, she looks up.
Oh, hello there.
It's cold out here, but she's not wearing a hat. She must be freezing. Everyone knows drugs make you invulnerable to cold. You bet this one likes to party.
It's freezing. Where's your hat?
Huh?
Looks like you distracted.
Maybe she didn't hear you. A little louder.
I said you should have a hat on.
So should you.
I don't have to do anything. I'm the law. You're the one that has to do what the law says. I should and I do. Point to your hat.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
It's nice. You should wear one too if you plan on staying outside in the weather.
Yeah, well... Look, man, fuck the hat.
What did she just say? That's not how a civilian is supposed to address an officer of the law.
Is that the kind of language really necessary?
I'm sorry I said fuck the hat. I was concentrating on something else. My whole family swears and it rubbed off on me.
She has a pained expression on her face. She'll answer your questions now. What's your name?
Estelle.
Sal.
Her hair is dyed blonde, with dark roots showing. There's a coarseness to her features, some masculinity below that timidness.
And what's your surname? I'm not a young suitor. This is official.
Why?
I'm from the police. It's for the paperwork.
Okay, it's Burger.
Selberger.
A very common name. You have little reason to doubt that's her real name. But she's not all that surprised by this cop show questioning, is she?
What's the device you have there?
This is a portable recording device. It's for field recording. Low quality, but still.
Wires?
Actually, just one wire. I picked on it till the braiding came loose. The wire leads to a contact microphone.
What's a contact microphone?
A contact mic records sounds from inside things, like this
Huh.
ice.
Your mangled brain would like you to know there is a boxer called Contact Mike.
What am I supposed to do with this? Yeah, and he knew it was on my wife's name. How about my mother?
No, you're welcome.
does the thing work?
The mic? I don't exactly know. Somehow it doesn't pick up vibrations from the air. The book said it only picks up structure-borne sound, if you like technobabble.
Where do you get the mic from?
Same place I got the recorder from, the Palaceum.
What's the Palaceum?
Oh man, you haven't been to the Palaceum? It's the coolest place in this whole drug-addled shithole.
Oh.
It's a music club and a synthesizer workshop on Boogie Street in Jamrock.
Boogie.
Musicians live there, like real musicians. I once saw Arno van Eyck.
Thinking about it really cheers her up. It's a long way from here, though.
Sounds interesting. Who's this Arno guy?
Oh yeah, guess you wouldn't know Van Eyck. Or really be a Palaceum going kind of person.
I get down.
I don't know what that
I
means.
grind.
I don't know what that means either.
Means I'm hip beyond my years, sister.
That's cool.
She breathes on her fingers. Looks like she doesn't know what to say. You're right. Time has deserted me. Now let's talk about the mic.
Sure.
Actually, I have some non-mic questions for you.
Okay.
What are you doing out here in the cold?
Recording, I guess.
And what exactly are you recording?
I think I'm recording cracks in the ice. But there's no way to tell. Not without headphones. I think I just recorded your footsteps too. Not sure how that will sound.
Wait, what happened to your headphones?
My boyfriend
For
sold them.
what?
I don't know, man. Things. Just stuff you need for life.
A lie. They were probably pawned off for something suspicious.
And what are the recordings for?
The musicians in the Palaceum used them for making music. They looped the stuff, cutting the tapes together. They make music out of cracks in the ice and keys jangling. Crazy sounds like that. It's hard to explain.
Nod.
Anyway, I thought I'd make some too. It's supposed to be, like, a music place anyway.
He rubs her shoulders and looks around.
I don't really know what I'm doing. They use synthesizers too. I don't have a synthesizer.
She looks at the recording device, the thing she thought would fill her hours with joy and escape. It's turning out to be an empty fantasy.
Aww.
She feels childish, very useless all of a sudden.
Take this, your code.
The lieutenant begins to take off his jacket.
No man, fuck that, I'm cool. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry about the fuck.
It's okay.
Well, I want to give her a hat, but I don't want to give her my hat. Here, you need this more than I do.
Thanks.
You said it's supposed to be a music place. What is this?
That? The boys think it could be a place, like the Palaceum or
What did the
something.
Dick Mullen hat do?
Stupid. It's really not going to be a Palaceum, that's for sure. Yeah, Andre and the guys, they're inside, in the tent.
Huh.
And why is that?
Why are you freezing in here while the boys are inside?
They got too much stuff crammed in there, no room.
Stuff like...
Music stuff mostly. Like this tape recorder, but bigger.
You mean like...
And there's piles of it.
You mean like those headphones your boyfriend sold?
Yep, they were pretty. I'm sorry we sold those.
Why not just leave some of it outside so you don't freeze?
That stuff is more expensive than I am. More expensive than any of us, really. Doesn't matter. I can take the cold.
You said it's supposed to be a music place. Oh, I had some other questions.
Go ahead.
Tell me more about this music place you've been planning in the church.
It's supposed to become, like, a club for anodic dance music. Like that new style of synthesizer stuff they play at the Palaceum. Except that, yeah,
It looks at the old wooden church on the poles as the wind, as a mean wind comes blowing in. The 6-story structure lets out a doleful shriek. What is anodic dance music?
you know, anodic, cathodic, Music that's made with electronic instruments.
Like what?
Synthesizers and tape consoles. Microcomputers too. Anything that uses electricity, but isn't guitars. Also found sounds, stuff like that.
You see clear, beautiful, violent flashes of light. Light cutting through a smoke-filled darkness. That is what the future will look like. If it ever comes.
Do you want to turn the church into a club?
I know. It's not my idea. Andre and the boys found the place. It was supposed to be deserted, but now they can't even take it. Hey, you two are cops.
Yeah, what do you ask?
Okay, well, maybe you could talk to Andre and the guys, because there are some strange things going on in that church. If you're police, you should look into it, right?
I'll talk to them.
They're inside that thing there. Would be cool if you did. Was there something else?
Did you put the padlock on the church door?
No,
No.
not really, no.
Or the sticker in your ledger? So this is yours?
It's Noid's.
Wait, is this Noid a friend of yours?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Why did Noid person put a padlock on the church door?
To keep more weirdos from getting in. Fucking Martinez. I'm sorry. It's got the worst weirdos. If you get around to it, ask Andre about him, he'll tell ya.
Enough about the church then, I had another question.
Go ahead.
You seem surprisingly comfortable with being questioned. Why is that?
Well, it's just questioning, right? You're just questioning me. It's what cops
Have you
do.
been questioned before?
Once or twice, yeah. I'm sorry I haven't had the Revershaw experience they get east of the river.
What's east of the river?
Rich people. Rich people are east of the river.
I bet they're really rich. They must be very special people to be so rich. Let me guess, the rich people are not from around here?
Aren't they? I thought they were as vachelaire as any of us. Just way richer.
Oh no, they're foreign bodies, agents of international capital. You only need to look close enough.
Maybe you're right.
So what
Most of them do speak 3 languages.
what trouble have you gotten into with the police?
The usual. I had a shitty run as a teenager.
That's the usual?
You know, drinking, getting into fights. The ugly stuff that happens when you move out your parents' place at 13. In Forberg.
Hey, what is Infoberg?
Is this a rhetorical question?
No, I literally can't remember even the most basic terms sometimes. Why did you move out at such a tender age?
My dad was a drunk. Plus, I guess, I just wanted to drink too, you know. Get my party on.
I get that. I'm a major party animal myself. Major. Drinking and partying and disco music are bad for you. You should take me as a warning example.
She nods very cautiously.
That's it for now.
Okay, bye.
Gave her my hat! Now what hat do I have to wear? Get the beanie. Empathy? They didn't give me better empathy. That'd be really weird to have that. Yes, what does the hat do for me again? Reaction speed, but -1 rhetoric. Oh, the glasses give me empathy. Hey, cool. No tribalistic markings on this post. Full scrutiny of the eyes keeps the tent erect. Pressure on unending party. Someone's home away from home, just like yours.
A pane of Eternite has been planted into the snow. 2 poles are holding it up. Barely holding it up. It could fall over any minute. A stronger gust of wind might be enough.
What is this?
It looks like a makeshift bridge. Could be convenient.
Push the knight
The
over.
pane falls into the icy snow with a soft thunk.
Nice. Alright. Save. Talk to some dudes about some music. Or whatever.
The tent is just tarpaulin fabric covering a pile of stuff. The flap is open. Inside, 3 young men are listening to some new form of music. It's like nothing you've ever heard. One of them looks at you.
Come on, get in and close the flap behind you. The warm stuff's getting out.
It's safe to assume this is their leader, or at least he thinks he is.
Squeeze in.
Sorry, we barely have room for one.
You go ahead. I'm too old for this.
I'm actually not, he thinks. I just dislike delinquents.
I'm sure you will feel right at home. I'll keep watch.
Gestures for you to squeeze in. Smells like sweat, laundry detergent, plus a trace of ether. A pile of nasal spray, brand name Nosafide Ultra. Speaker, the big kind they use for live music. Canisters filled with what appears to be water. The label says distilled.
You see a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair with a toothbrush. He puts the toothbrush down and extends his hand in greeting.
Hello, I'm Andre. It's a pleasure to meet
Take his
you.
hand.
His grip is strong, sweaty, and warm. He's trying to project and inspire confidence.
This is my posse, Noid.
Right?
The young man with earrings looks at you suspiciously.
And Egghead. Egg!
Tape player high above the head contains a blast. What is probably endodic music.
Together with a settled burger, who's out there right now, doing some seriously progressive sonic experimentation, we like to think of ourselves as music venue organisers.
How many music venues have you organized?
We have many in the pipeline, officer.
Why are you here?
You see, we've been all over Jamrock North, prospecting for real estate to establish a new venue in.
Also for talent.
Yeah, thank you, Egghead. And while there is no shortage of raw, unfettered talent spinning tapes in Jamrock, we've had rotten luck with the real estate part.
Place is a shithole.
I apologise for my friend Noid's potty mouth. I realise this is not how you speak to a police officer. He has authority issues.
Is there something you wanted? Your friend Sil said there was a problem with the church?
Oh, so you've met her? Good, good.
He nods.
Yeah, it's a matter of occupied ecclesiastical property. I bet you've noticed the derelict hive of narcomania on the coast.
An attempt to pander to your perceived conservative sensibilities. No person his age would ever use a word like narcomania with a straight face. Don't fall for it.
Enough histrionics, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the church, and I'm not exaggerating. Even a place of spiritual refuge can become a magnet for all sorts of dopeheads and burnouts if left unattended.
Dopeheads. Burnouts.
He really spits on a screw, then starts cleaning it.
Well, I'm sad to say, that's exactly what happened. Sad because we were just about to put Martinez on the map with one of the maddest dance clubs in Jamrock. Nah, strike that. In Reversham.
Yeah.
Strike that. The world.
And sadder yet, because the dopeheads and burnouts hold up in there are the worst kind.
He leans back a little, watching you with a steady, serious gaze, letting you imagine just how bad those dopeheads and burnouts really are.
Are they really that bad?
Good. This calls for an opinion. You're an expert in
I
those.
won't stand for narcomania of any kind. No narcomaniacs on my watch. I feel like you may be laying this on a bit thick. What's really so bad about these dope heads and burnouts?
They're spooky.
What exactly do you mean by spooky?
I was hoping you would be the judge of that, officer. All I can say is, their spookiness is the kind that keeps us from restoring this church into a community centre. and a place of spiritual refuge.
Alright.
Also, they don't eat or clean the building. Shit's gonna collapse.
People just want to spin tapes without them spooking it up. Place has bad signs. No one can dance like that.
Thank you, Egghead. So you're gonna look into it, right? It should be a police matter. Getting them out. Whatever spooky stuff they're doing, I'm sure it's not what the Ecclesiastes meant their property for.
I'll look into it. Tell me more.
All right, man.
Claps his hand enthusiastically.
Andre's obviously very happy you took him seriously. The whole tent is. The boys exchanged giddy looks.
Cell told me Noid put the padlock on the door. Why?
I did ask Noid to install a measure against more drifters wandering in. It's a temporary fix, just something to contain the situation.
I had to do it in an hurry. Not my best work, but it should hold for a
I
while.
need the key.
Of course. Noid, give the officer the key.
All right.
The speed freak dips into his belt pack and produces a yellow key that makes a sudden, cool, and fusing move, tossing it in your general direction. Be the cool cop. Catch the key as it flies towards you.
You sense the trajectory of the little piece of metal and plastic. The object makes a small ringing sound as it approaches. Just the tiniest chime to your left.
Catch it.
Ka-ching! The key hits your palm. The speed freaks nod to you approvingly.
Thanks, man.
The speed freak nods to you. A respectful nod. You proved something here.
How long have those people been locked in there?
Not long. Like a week, maybe?
How could you be sure they haven't starved to death?
I'm super sure they're alive. I mean, come on. I'm at least 90%, maybe 85% sure they're still alive.
85% is not good enough when you're dealing with the person's physical well-being.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too. I guess it wasn't very hardcore of us to just lock them in like that.
Me too. I shouldn't have that kind of power over another person. I'm not the one with the violence monopoly here. You are. I'm glad that key is out of my hands now.
Alright, other questions?
Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. Let's do it.
Who exactly are the people inside the church?
Truth is, I don't really know. None of us do. I don't even know how many there are. All we've seen are glimpses.
You haven't even seen them and you want the police to be in... Nah. Better safe than sorry. Anything you can tell me?
Yes, there's also the machinery.
This machinery is of the deeply mystical variety.
When I first scouted the place, back in February, it was abandoned, empty. Took some time getting the crew together. So about 2 weeks ago, we came here hoping to set the stuff up. Suddenly, there are all these strange machines lying around in there.
One of them has wires running into bowls of water. Wires into water. Never seen anything like it.
Andre, tell him about the feeling.
Oh, and it felt like there was something in there with us, watching us from the dark.
No, the other one.
Which other one? I'm not as in tune with my emotions as you are, Egg.
Felt like silence. Awful silence.
But you haven't physically seen anyone.
Not exactly. We've just seen someone who we think is a woman go in and out of the church. A couple of times. And we felt someone or something eyeing us inside. But that's kinda it.
What was that about something watching you? Tell me more about this machinery.
You should talk to Noid about that. I just got a distinct burnout and dopehead sign from them. Probably jacked up to some snuff station too. Probably very likely.
What about something watching you?
Like you aren't alone, you know?
It wasn't quite human, if you know what I mean.
It was this dark shape climbing upside down along the ceiling, like some kind of crab man.
Crab man.
Yeah, you know, the way it was climbing up and around the ceiling, like a crab.
It was stalking a cell, exhibiting ambush behaviour.
Are you sure there was a crab man?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't personally see it. Estelle was alone that time, but I believe her. If she comes out running and says there's a crab in there, there's a crab in there.
So he hasn't even been in there lately. Is he afraid?
Yeah.
You should ask her about it, but be nice. Don't tell her you don't believe in the crab.
There probably is no crab man. Don't let them draw you in with this nonsense.
So how can you be sure your There are burnouts and dope heads in there if you haven't seen them.
Well, honestly, I can't. But I am.
Why not? Let's go with that.
I don't see a single thing wrong with that argument.
I'm 70% sure they're substance users. Don't let the technology fool you.
He makes little quotation marks with his fingers when he says technology.
Sure. What?
You mentioned some kind of ecclesiastes on the church. Who are these ecclesiastes?
Oh yeah, that's a Meteoran name for the founding party. Thought it'd be cool to use it.
Before we go on, what do you mean Meteoran?
You know, of Meteo. Concerning Meteo.
Meteo?
Meteo, a country on Muindi. On the Muindi Isla.
He looks at you, squinting his eyes to see if you're kidding on. What is this founding party?
Come to think of it, I've never really looked them up, you know. I can't give you a precise definition, but they're a very powerful religious organisation. And they have roots in ancient mass society. And they're the custodians of the Pericarnassian church. Plus, they anoint the innocents. They, like, made the innocentic system, no?
They sound exactly like the kind of people who want loud anhedonic music in their church. Sarcasm?
You're right, they do.
He says with the slightest hint of irony.
The Pericarnassian church is about love, and Nordic music is about love. I got love for my Pericarnassian posse. Love is the relay out of death. We're done.
He violently shakes the tape player as if to see if he can break it.
Love is hardcore.
Unity. Unity.
Make some noise for my Insulindian posse.
He turns the volume up, then looks at you with a knowing nod as if it's obvious you will now break into dance.
You feel it. The anodes and the cathodes coursing through you. Your big toe starts tapping along to the bass, as if testing the waters.
No words, enjoy the beat. You're right.
Feels good.
How would the founding party be anything but enthusiastic? Dance music is about love, and so is the This is too much. No sane organization will want this level of absurdity going on in the church.
Yeah! Yakokata! The place to be!
He seems ecstatic that you share his vision of Pericarnassianism.
Alright.
Do it for the masses. Do it for the crew.
His friend forms a fist with his screwdriver still in hand, approvingly so.
I didn't want to say it, but it was pretty lame of you to imply otherwise. Anyway, you got more questions?
The one with the large head is still looking at you, nodding his head, waiting for your body to start moving. You feel like you could go for a little disco when, or if they get this club going. You've got it in you.
I wanted to ask you about the tent full of equipment.
Yes. What?
I see you brought your own water?
Yeah. Good to have, bitch to carry. When I first scouted the place, I did some reconnaissance. I'm not sure the church even has running water.
And it's distilled too.
Oh.
He doesn't know what to say.
It's the one they sell at the fuel station.
It's like he's lying to you, my liege. But he's slippery enough that there's nothing for you to grab hold of.
Aw. Hate to tell you, but it reeks of sweat in here. What's with all the Nosafed?
The what now?
Went to the bottle of the Nosafed in the corner. The Nosafed Ultra, you seem to have a lot of it lying around.
Oh, the old Ultra.
He's like an actor, looking to the souffleur for his line.
I have a major sinus infection. Stuffy nose. We all do. Shit's all blasted up. Winter. Can't even breathe.
Sound fine to me.
Yes, that's all Nosafed's doing. Without the Noser, I'd be drowning in shit right now.
Nosafed is the shit.
Can I have some? I have some nose problems too.
Sure. Here you go, officer. The Noser. Blast away.
Hate to tell you, but it reeks of sweat in here.
It does, doesn't it?
Told you we have a smell problem.
He picks up a piece of telephone cord and inspects it. Wait, I also smell ether. Why?
Ether? I don't smell ether. Do you, Noid?
No.
Mixed with a peculiar chemical scent like laundry detergent?
He sniffs the air, then shrugs. It doesn't take a forensic scientist to guess it's drug-related. They look and act like the kind of guys who've done their fair share. However, their breathing is regular, their jaws stay put, and their pupils aren't dilated. So, not under the influence right now.
Alright, enough of this.
He nods enthusiastically, no doubt a little relieved.
Logic? Oh. That's it for now.
As always, we'll be right here, waiting patiently for the news. Yeah!
A young man with peroxide blonde hair holds up a Harman Walshi tape player, nodding along to the music. He looks at you with a knowing smile and says, as though you're supposed to be sharing some tremendous evangelical secrets.
What?
Hardcore!
Say nothing.
Hardcore!
Still say nothing.
Hardcore to the mega!
Alright!
Here comes the night!
Could there have been a right way out of this garden of forking paths, you think?
Solve the egghead puzzle?
The young man
This is hardcore.
Is it?
It's hardcore!
I don't know what to say to that.
Skibbity, skibberdanger. I am the rearranger.
Your cop training did not prepare you for this. What to do?
Back to the heavyweight jam.
This is the young man with the tape player, large narrow boots, long-shaped tree sprouts from his silver belt.
Hardcore!
Say nothing.
Hardcore!
Still say nothing.
Hardcore to the mega.
Still say nothing.
Internally coherent.
I was wondering if you knew about who killed the mercenary hanging behind the Whirling Rags hostel.
Good morning, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yakokata, the place to be.
I'm beginning to think he really doesn't care. Really doesn't have anything to do with the case. Where you said that, why is Nekokana the place to be? What does that mean?
It's the message, so listen and you will see. No illusion. The spirit is what you feel.
So you had a talk with Andre, and now you want to discuss things with Noid. Good.
Skin shows through the holes in his Speed Freak 2 large sweater, and in front of him an open toolbox full of carpentry tools and parts.
It's good you talked to Andre first. Gave me time to get a reading on your sign. Can't really talk to people before you get a reading.
Runs his hand through his hair, just coming back in a mock seriousness, and continues to fiddle with some gears. My sign?
Yeah, gotta compare. See if we can align.
Interesting.
I suck at socialising, man. Even now, our sign synchronisation is way off. But I'll see what I can do.
I saw a sticker on the padlock. Can you tell me anything about it?
A sticker? You mean the yellow one? Can you describe it to me?
Why describe it if you already know what I mean?
So I can hear you do it. Sometimes the outside gaze helps us reflect on things.
Alright.
Noid, don't bother our guests with your games.
Piss off, Andre. Me and Mr. Cop are trying to discuss art.
You shouldn't talk like that.
I might allow a little found language here and there.
Cool. The ban on foulness. That's the moralists' plot to alienate us from our bodily functions so they can control us more fully. Anyhow, what was the sticker like?
Produce your ledger and show him the sticker.
Seems like my creation has found its way into the legal bureaucracy. What did you want to ask about it?
What is it supposed to be?
The dead guy smiling.
And what does it mean? Why is the dead guy smiling?
He defeated history. We are living in the age of history, and in the eyes of history, we are always already dead. How can we ever smile then? Because history is a lie, and so are its deaths.
What?
The present moment and life are the hardcore. The hardcore expels death. Or maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's just really ecstatic about the beats.
I was thinking we should sell this.
Yeah, that interpretation holds.
Maybe because that's the subject for now.
I guess one could write an entire treatise on the thing. But what for?
What about now? The signs are alright?
Nah. Still strongly out of sync. Stage gamma disalignment. You heard me.
Tell me about the machines you saw in the church.
Weird stuff. Specialised. There was a data processor and some sort of long-wave machinery. Wires going into water. Gives off a spy sign. Or some fucked-up Samaran science sign. You know, the kind that goes head first into the supernatural.
What's wrong with the supernatural?
Nothing's wrong with it. You should definitely be researched. You can still do sick shit with it though.
Alright.
The sickest. That's perhaps why it should be researched.
Supernatural, so you think it's real? This actually existed?
Most of it doesn't exist. But there's also stuff that isn't allowed to exist. Because the moralists think it's too dangerous for the plebs. Psionic powers, pale-related diseases, pretenders pretending to be human, folk rights, that kind of stuff.
Why are you called the Noid?
The hardcore aesthetic is esoteric. It's not meant to be discussed with the law at this moment.
Picks up some sort of widget?
It's not easy to reach a harmonic resonance of signs without some adjustment.
You want popularity? I sure do. Does this mean we need sign matching?
Yes, further sign matching would do good for us. One way to achieve this would be by getting us into the church.
Alright, maybe I'll come back later. Alright, I gotta figure out this puzzle.
We're close. True, hard, full, car, hardcore. Hardcore to the mega. Internally coherent.
All car, all right, yeah!
He furrows his brow as his very large head traces the sublime invisible movement of the music in the very real air of the stuffy tent.
Hardcore! Ah! Is it though?
He stops in his tracks, tilting his head to the side. It is!
But is it? I mean,
He
really?
tilts his head to the other side like an owl.
Feels like you should reply with the very pinnacle of idiocy here, so that things get totally transcendent. But you haven't gotten there yet, so you don't know what to say.
I was thinking that too!
I am the mic enforcer. I am the chicks checker. Yeah! We're close. True, hard, full, car.
Is it?
It's hardcore.
You're gonna keep saying hardcore, aren't you?
Skibbity, skibbity.
Your cop training did not.
Let me save real quick. Also, this music is gonna kill me.
We're close. True, hard. It's hardcore. Skibbity.
Your cop.
We're close. True, hard, hardcore. Hardcore to the mega. Internally coherent.
All car, all right, yeah!
He furrows his.
Hardcore. Ah! Is it though?
He stops in his track, tilting his head to the side. It is!
But is it? I mean, really?
Feels like you should reply with the very pinnacle of idiocy here, so that things get totally transcendent.
Under the radar. Over the top.
Alright, I'm out of here.
The shaggy-haired girl kneels on the sea ice. She looks up as you approach.
So you talked to my associates, right? Are you going to help us? With the church, I mean.
Oh, you alright?
Great. Let us know if there's any progress, will ya? We've been waiting for weeks
Just
here.
told me you went inside the church. What did you see in there?
Oh, that. You're not going to believe me. There's no point in me telling you.
We'll see. Go ahead and tell me.
Okay. I went in and I saw a woman next to one of those machines there. Noid calls it a mainframe.
Okay.
She was dressed like someone who's been raised by their grandmother, you know, strange old clothes. Had this absent expression, didn't say anything, just stood
Go
still.
on.
And then, you know, right behind her, a man crawled down the wall, upside down like a crab, down the church wall. I think the woman didn't even know he was there. He was completely silent.
All right.
He stopped right before he got to the floor, then just hung there like that, looking at me. Right at me. I fucking turned around and walked out. End of story.
Like a crab, you say?
Lieutenant nods, his face is stone. What did the crab man look like?
It was too dark. I couldn't tell exactly.
Come on. She obviously could. She already went into detail.
Come on, quit stalling. What did he look like?
He looked like a banger, okay? He was all muscular and stuff. Had a mesh tank top. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that only made it scarier in a way.
A crab and a banger?
Lieutenant raises an eyebrow.
Yes, a banger. As in a mess gang member. I know what it sounds like, but that's what I saw.
I do believe you.
Why?
What would you stand to gain?
Nothing. Anyway, what else?
I'd like to know something about your associates.
My associates? I haven't got much to say about them.
What do you mean? You must know something about them.
Of course I do. I just don't tell people about my friends and who they are and so on. I don't provide information on
What
them.
about you? Tell me something about yourself.
Me? I'm a silver bird.
Oh, okay, maybe I'll ask about all of this.
Don't know what makes you think it'll be any different later, but
Alright, that's it for now. Bye-bye. Now I can go into the church if I want to. What is in the church?
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
Open the padlock with a key.
The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open.
Let's go.
Pull on the doors.
A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum in the heart of the city.
A vacuum in the heart of the city. Strange stillness fills you as you look ahead. You should walk here, not run. You just wouldn't figure looks half finished. Blackboard has filled some complex equation that look recent. Two decks of reel-to-reel tape spinning on the empty. fork lightning powders you saw outside. Portable Harman Washi's tape recorder. Possible it's recording something? And it's siphoning electrical current from outside into this antenna.
A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity.
Another radio computer. And this time it's already turned on.
Seems cautious around the machine.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks. Alarm systems and the like. Let's be careful.
We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case.
Yes, but this machine looks like the one in the Dune commercial area. Wait, let me just investigate. You step behind the computer.
You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connected to the central compartment is wide open. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. You're free to
You
proceed.
look inside the compartment.
Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says, in black marker, log, February to March. Another filament memory. Press play to talk with the repeater.
Display.
The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you. Her voice sounds 100 years old.
Good afternoon. Votre accident on Saint-Brun. This is the East Insulindian repeater station 1. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
It's the same old woman you spoke with through the radio computer in the doomed commercial area.
Yvonne, it's me again. How are you?
Good, thank you. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
Fortress accident like the one in the Dune commercial area. I looked inside the core, but the tape on the filament just said log, Feb, March.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer.
Can you give me a hint?
Received. I will register this login attempt. Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
Fortress accident like the one in the Dune commercial area.
I have 2 machines registered to this company name in Martinez. One on Saint-Brun, the other on Rue de Saint-Ghislaine.
Saint-Brun. That's the church. And Rue de Saint-Ghislaine? That's the doomed commercial area.
Anything else I can help you with?
Thanks when I finish with the call.
Goodbye.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing fluorescent. Nothing happens.
Are there a pair of shoes over there? Bowl's filled with water and live wire runs directly into it.
The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely
I
silent.
think I still hear something.
And then it's gone. Almost all of it. But for the faintest of hums, it seems the sound here is detached from its source somehow, if not blotted out outright. Truly unusual.
Yeah.
You can hardly hear your own breathing.
Stomp your feet and clap your hands.
You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total somehow.
Yell as loud as you can.
Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers.
What's happening?
The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything?
Almost nothing. It's beginning to worry me.
The church just has strange acoustics, some engineering trick.
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is.
Whatever it is, it's definitely real. Something odd is happening around us.
The lieutenant doesn't reply, but you can sense him tense up next to you.
Look into the bell tower.
The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead.
Alright, I'll try and peek inside. Try beyond the shadows.
It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows.
On the ceiling?
Yes, the darkness makes the ceiling feel infinitely far away.
Follow the shadow's movements.
It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more substantial as it gets closer. The shape of an animal descends.
Officer, is there something up there?
Soon follows your guys' attempt to see whatever it is you are seeing.
Oh no, you've lost sight of it. Where did it go?
Blink.
You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it.
Hanger scarf. Ooh, pain threshold. Oh, that's some drama though. Frost has drawn flowers on the glass, obscuring the view. Figure drawn on the frost, the window depicting a deer. Graphic glass panes colorful. Spider has spun its web around the wood carved pillar. What are these shoes all about? Empathy? You can have empathetic shoes?
The shadow is a man made of the same stuff as the carpentry of the building. He is studying you intently. The crab man.
Hey, who's there?
The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
What are you doing here?
I'm here to receive the mother's love. You can too, Holmes. And when you ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of that despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
I guess I have a bit of a problem, but it's been getting out of hand lately.
Está crudo, way. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence, and you don't even know it.
Oh, I'm very in touch with my suffering.
Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc El Vino is wrecking on your mind and your spirit. Necesita parar, homie.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
some reason I feel like you have a point there.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes.
Voice echoes in the cold air of the church.
This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
Sways gently on the beams, waiting for you to take it all in.
This Mother of Silence sounds like a serious player. You might want to be careful until you find out what you're dealing with.
Do you know where the other spooker is? The other spooker is? What do the strange machines around you?
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes.
Wait, so there is another person living in the church? And it's a Vegeta?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear.
And you don't know where she is?
That's what I said, Holmes.
How can you not know that when you both live here?
Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests.
So you got nothing else to tell me? How she looks, what she does, who she is?
I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait until she comes back, or
search through her radio computer.
Have you by any chance heard the Vegeta say the password to her radio computer?
Too many times, Essay. You need it for something.
Surveys are a good way to fish for personal information, especially in the name of public safety.
Drama. Yeah, it's a first-degree murder investigation in Martinez.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrow, but doesn't say anything.
Don't sweat it, vato. The password is afterlife death. What you think of that? Makes me almost pity La Nilita Pequeña when I hear it.
Some ravers want to turn this place into a nightclub.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Think they scared of me.
Do they have a reason to be scared?
Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore.
So what do you think about the nightclub, that is?
Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go. Might even be nice to have some company.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
He must be the crab man.
Never known myself to be a crab. But if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it.
Sorry, you just weren't moving like a human. Hey, it's your neighbors who came up with the name, not me.
I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be that I gotta work on my technique.
That's not the only technique he's working on. Look at those carved sculptures. And is that a satchel of tools over there?
Wait, did you carve all those sculptures? Point to theirs.
Sure am. Whittling wood used to be something I just did to busy my hands. Now I use those same hands in service of something greater than my own restlessness.
You're promoting the objectification of women with your reactionary depictions of female body?
It's all just for the mother, man. No need to overthink it.
What were you before you became a crab man and a woodcarver?
I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone.
Lost my memory too, and it haunts me.
No, man. You gotta let that shit go. Then the mother's light touch will fill you with rapture.
Do you remember your name, sir?
The lieutenant is not particularly interested in this information. He's just trying to assert some control over the conversation.
Tiago's my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but also, so to speak, your place amongst your fellows, your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore.
My name is Harry. Extend your hand in greeting.
That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters.
Ignores your hand, his limb a mere shadow below the ceiling. What are you doing here?
This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. A way out into nothingness. This church was built around it for purposes of veneration. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly.
Who's this mother of silence you keep talking about?
Oh, that's no simple question, I said. She is one who can be painted or sculpted. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will.
What will happen once you drink from this perforation?
I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with the state of the world before reality began.
You sure you didn't just switch from one drug to another?
It's not like that at all, man. It's just faith and joyful service.
Too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you, to his very own self.
Faith is a kind of drug?
I heard that before, Way, and I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think, when's the last time you woke up from silent communion with a hangover, regretting what you did last night?
There are drugs darker than alcohol circling your
I
system.
think love might have been my drug of choice, and I think I'm still hungover from it.
She took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a drop compared to the ocean of the mother's love. The mother will eat all of you and never spit you out.
I was being insensitive. Sorry, let's move on.
No worries, man. I know this shit takes time.
I don't understand what you're doing in the church.
I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory.
Doesn't really make sense for someone to sing if she's the mother of silence. Can you sing for me? Sing.
I ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking. And the song I sing is silent as the mother.
He lost his cool there for a moment. Seems you hit some nerve.
How did you find this place?
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the church was.
All right.
Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, eh? It didn't belong to me.
Are these yours? Show him the scarf and shoes that were lying around.
I think they were. A long time ago. I had to shed them like skins to get closer to the center of the silence. You could have them. I don't need them anymore.
They look pretty dapper, actually.
I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory.
Singing is good. We should all sing a bit more.
I don't mean literal singing, Holmes. This is the mother of silence we're talking about. It's the singing of a burning heart. You may be thinking, but fire crackles. No, Holmes. That's the material that's burning. The flames themselves are without sound.
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
You've been here a long time. Do you know why the church was abandoned?
Police raid a while back.
Did you witness it?
Not really, or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. It lets you forget about everything.
Yeah, then. Thanks.
I think we're done here, Essay.
Figure crawls off into the darkness above.
That was an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
However, I'm still not sure how it's relevant to our investigation.
In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad, a dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel.
All right.
Your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold. There you kneel among the snowdrifts, diffuse light falling on your hands from beyond the glass.
Look up.
The woman looks down at you kneeling. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. There is a sad smile on her lips and a glint in her green-blue eye of what? Compassion? Remorse?
Compassion.
As that soft word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder.
Do the same as you get up.
Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass.
This is Dolores Day.
The old woman in the village was right. This must be the DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez, or the small Pinewood Church in some records.
You knew of this place?
It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by first-generation settlers.
What else do you know?
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Sept Sœurs, they call them. The 7 Sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the revolution or used for building materials. We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find anything connected to the lynching here. Something else, perhaps?
Looks at the machinery lying around.
There it is again. A small pang of guilt. It's time to ask him what happened here.
Do you know why it was abandoned?
I have a theory, yes. There was a police raid a while back. I heard the place was shot to pieces. The old woman in the village was being tactful with us when she didn't mention it. She has more respect for the RCM than many around here.
Who conducted this raid?
Well, your station was involved, I hear. Although I can't be sure.
You're not sure?
3 precincts were involved in the raid, and people say Precinct 41 was one of them.
I guess it could have been here.
I'm sorry, I'm not saying you were. It was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything about it, why it was conducted or who participated. I try not to pry into extra-district matters.
If I was here, I should find out what I was doing here.
Good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by calling. If you really don't remember, it might be better to keep this one forgotten. It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Martinez now.
What do I need? Visual calculus or... Perception? Oh, it's knowledge. It's
The mother of humanism stands above you, a precious and...
I had 2 skill points. It's been brought to your attention that you're an alcoholic and that it's a sickness and it's killing you. You're crawling to your knees for life, your booze-filled belly dragging on the ground, your brain now fuzzy, now and overdrawn, your hair sticking together with today's wild cold sweat and yesterday's vomit. Perhaps they're right. Anything is better than this. Even bone dry reality itself. Maybe you can quit. gives me good or visual calculus. Anything that subtracts from my visual calculus? Oh wait, one of these, doesn't this thing take away from my visual calculus? It does.
The mother of humanism stands above you, a precious and The mother of humanism stands above you. A precious and a jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you. A ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one. And a text, a light motif below them both.
What shattered this mosaic?
Unknown. Something during the raid the lieutenant mentioned. Or just hooligans looking for something to break.
Who is this older woman?
The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden rights apfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen her innocence day advised. Above, she herself is whole. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, 30 years, stand in a row guarding her. It must have taken years to produce this work in all its dizzying detail.
The motto, what does it say?
Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau. And then, along the left side, Après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, le monde de nouveau.
Lieutenant, this used to say after life, death, after...
Death.
Life again.
Life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more, however.
Why?
It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. We already suspected of bootlicking. The sentence was also seen as too feminine. It was a macho thing.
What is the RCM's motto now?
Justice, union, prudence, and force.
I like the other one better. I like this. Puts the fear of God back in the... I like the other one better.
So do I.
Get back.
The mother of humanism towers above you. A wax painting on a cracked pane of glass. Nothing has changed in her expression.
Encyclopedia? Need a better pair of pants.
The mother of humanism stands above you. Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is her innocence, Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps the most famous human being ever to have lived. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men.
Hey, what exactly is an innocence?
The highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world's
A
spirit.
ruler?
More, an innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. The legal system of the Real Belt is built to accommodate innocent rule should it coincide with our time. An innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. An innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is an honor and a glory to live when one is in office.
Is one in office now?
No, we are alone.
Okay, when did she rule?
300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi. She is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel and the connected world.
What else do I know about her?
Many things. You know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually
Marchese?
the principal advisor to Irene La Navigateur, Queen of Serene, modern-day Sir Laclay. Also, that she was gorgeous beyond beauty, draped in ancient sadness. Are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? Standing under a long, slender form like this, dwarfed?
Where is this coming from?
The past. It's a silo of sadness, fermenting. You should keep away.
Okay, what else? Was she smart?
Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A simple grasp in matters of philosophy, theology, and science was encouraged. She was, by all means, a kept woman. She made the most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was becoming the era's preeminent philosopher of the state. A scalpel, a piercing gaze. She was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heels. Even before she was declared an innocence, her influence was tremendous.
How come?
It was on her advice that Irene La Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. A costly, often tragic endeavor, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new world, the piece of reality you're standing on. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the greatest era in history. The DeLorean era. Wow, indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing in her chest. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress.
One more.
As did we all. The lands of the Mesk and the Occident, and even faraway Supramuindi, altogether 21 of the 40 mundial nations of the time, immediately accepted inacentic rule, even before her crowning.
Her crowning?
In a city called Advesperaskit, in Vespa Messina, her homeland, the name of the city means evening comes, but it happened on a winter's morning, with the canals frozen and slush falling out of the sky.
Okay.
She was dressed in a white and pearl dress on an emptied out plaza with the crowd far away. Already, her Theriers, the secret servicemen of the Innocents, were worried about an assassination
Must
attempt.
have been beautiful.
Oh yes, she looked like humanity's young mother, a perfect mother, insultingly beautiful. It was as if her face and shoulders and hands were covered in a soft down of underfeathers. You know this well, very well. Midwinter snow was beating the cobblestones around her. A small attaché of officials stood by as her Theriers placed a white gold wreath on her head. The crowning was mostly witnessed by Secret Servicemen.
Then what?
One of the men in this Secret Service killed her 22 years later. A young man who had come to suspect that Dolores Day was not entirely human, but something else. Something that had walked in our midst, watching us stumble for hundreds, if not thousands of years, until it decided to interfere in the course of our history. We were supposed to come up with this ourselves. The man was reported to have screamed at the Innocents. Dolores Day was shot in the chest with a fowling piece 8 times. The man, thought to be insane, said he once touched her and her body had been unnaturally warm, like a furnace, and that sometimes, while on duty, he observed her forgetting to breathe for over 10 minutes. This inhuman quality was witnessed by many others as well, glowing lungs and all. It is commonly attributed to mass hysteria and religious psychology.
Was there something terrifying about her?
Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory, or what remains of it. But terrifying, it's a simple word. She was bad for humanity, and you shouldn't have started thinking about her.
There was something bad about her. I want to know.
You already do. Although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, there was something ominous about Dolores Day. Constantly surrounded by her Theriers, she was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the Innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal for the campaigns she waged against the Mesk state. And then there were the resettlement programs.
What happened?
The Mesk state tried to detach itself from Innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite were problematic as well. Dissenters were suppressed by a military force she called the Army of Humanity. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you have ever seen, with green eyes the color of the Pacific, mare interregnum. Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely, paranoid, and even terrifying that people seldom mention, but feel when they think of her.
Lieutenant Yefreiter, you've stood there for over 5 minutes.
Lieutenant's calm voice echoes in the cold air of the church.
What are you thinking of, if I may ask?
War criminal! Is somehow connected to the case?
That she is. A great sacral piece. I wonder what we are doing here, however.
He takes his glasses off to clean them.
In this church, I mean. The coast in general. We shouldn't linger. This isn't a good place to get lost in.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing fluorescent play and print buttons. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you.
Good afternoon. Fortress accident on Saint-Brune. This is the East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
Let's try this. I think I may have the right password for the personal log.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Afterlife, death.
Good. I have unlocked the filament. After ending the call, please press print to access the filament. Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you
Thanks, I'm
today?
finished with the call.
Goodbye, Fortress accident.
She says as her voice disappears into a whirl of static.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing fluorescent play and print buttons.
Print?
The printer prints out a long text document with dated paragraphs. It looks a bit like someone's journal.
Read the
The
printout.
first entry, made on the 4th of February, 51, by an unknown author, is short and concise. Arrived at the church. The door was boarded up, so I used the crowbar to get inside. Looks like the place has been deserted. Nothing out of the ordinary, but I'll ask around. Need to figure out how to get the electricity in. The lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder. Just as you finish reading, he looks up, muttering under his breath.
4th of February. That's over a month ago. Whoever set up those machines has been here for quite a while.
Read the second entry.
6th of February, 51. Had a little chat with the local fishermen. Said I shouldn't go near that place, that the church was spooky and ridden with narcotics. It's a little spooky, all right. Still haven't figured out the electricity. What was that about narcotics? This could prove to be interesting.
Read the third entry.
7th of February, 51. Finally got the electricity in. Next on the agenda, a new antenna. I'm thinking ESCA series, something advanced.
What would she need an antenna?
Why would anyone need any of this equipment here?
He steps on a wire running from the ground, inspecting his boot. Read the fourth entry.
8th of February, 51. Bought the antenna, had some problems setting it up. Called Simon for help. Heard the others are back to making art. Drinking somewhere out of town. Sulislav started a rock band again. Lexi has been seen asking money from strangers, but at least the artists have their act together. They're qualified labor. They can get work anywhere. Graphic design, ads. The programmers are doing fine too. I mean, they're programmers. The writers, though, they're fucked. I just have to find out what caused that data loss and be done with it. Still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup, when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know. Everyone thinks it's impossible. They say I must be lying. I'm here to set it right.
Data loss?
Seems like something to do with radio computers. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about them to understand what the author is saying. Something about the backup data getting destroyed, and how everyone thought it was the author's fault. Let's just keep reading.
Artists, programmers, Lexi, who are all these people?
I think these people worked in the radio computer games business. The one we saw in the Doom commercial area. They must be our former co-workers.
Read the fifth entry.
12th of February, 51. Brought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike going on in the harbor. Definitely not happy to see the Martinez people again. Everything's now set up in the church. Going to start working tomorrow, 8 a.m.
The strike. We are nearing the date of the murder. Keep reading. I'm interested now. I want to know what's that radio anomaly that sent this person here in the first place.
Read the sixth entry.
25th of February, 51. I've been sending data up to Lintel
Yes,
for
2
a while
weeks.
now, trying to recreate the data loss, but nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in, the disappointment. But I did discover a curious audio-spatial anomaly at the back of the church. I've named it the Swallow. It swallows sound. Need to get some mics.
Is she talking about?
Lieutenant looks to his right for the silence.
28th of February, 51. Yes, the first recordings confirm that the Swallow is real, and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence, with a diameter of approximately 3 meters. Seems like the higher I go, the less I record. This might be a coincidence, or it could be connected to the data loss that led me here.
The Pillar of Silence. She is talking about the silence. Is she suggesting it's more than just an architectural
What
quirk?
could it be? Look at the water basin behind you.
The lieutenant doesn't answer. He follows your gaze, studying the basins. The water shines in them. No ripples.
Read the 8th entry.
March 51. Some kind of young disco men have appeared next to the church. I've been trying to record the silence to find the epicenter, but now it turns out I've also been capturing the future of dance music, one neo-disco song over and over again. Fortunately, the song is so monotonous, I was able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. Before I could even say hello, she got scared and left. Good. I don't want anyone distracting me from my work. That disco man must be a cell.
You must be describing a cell.
The girl on the ice? Sounds like her, yes.
Read the 9th entry.
March 51. I got a call from the repeater station. Someone has tried to access the radio computer in our old office in Martinez. Can't do anything about it. The storekeeper still doesn't want to let me inside the building. Thinks I'm part of some kind of curse. How Martinez of her.
It's me. I was the one who broke into the radio computer. And the storekeeper must be Passaians.
I knew it wasn't a good idea to meddle with that machine.
Read the 10th entry.
March 51. A new 2-meter aux cable. Noodles. Crackers. Ping energy drinks. Water. Toothpaste. Gum. Also some canned air. Your reading is interrupted by the sound of the church door opening. A strange woman makes straight for the radio computer.
Suna.
Breaking into my radio computer, I see.
There's usually turns off the several seconds the machine reboots.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCN, you see.
We're here on a side case representing certain music venue organizers.
Well, you won't find any music venue organizers here.
We look up the keyboard, you hear the machine whir back to life.
It's just me and my computer, and it has been this way for weeks. Now please give me some room. I need 2 seconds to see that you haven't destroyed anything.
We should talk to her after she has rebooted the machine.
See what this lady has to say.
What is it?
The woman is still hunched over a keyboard, gently illuminated by the purring machine. I didn't break anything, did I?
No, you just printed out my personal log and wasted some paper.
Does not look like a big loss to her. Hey, are you the lead programmer of We're All Untethered by any chance?
Yes. Or, no. Not anymore. That project is dead.
Oh.
She doesn't seem surprised to be recognized. Rather sad. Something passes over her face before she straightens her back.
Alright, but who are you? What are you doing here?
I am Soona Luukkanen-Kilde, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident and RSA radios. I have over 16 years of programming experience, and I'm proficient in both Vox and Orbis languages. If you're not here to hire me, I don't really know how I can help you.
Turns back to the terminal.
Did she say over 16 years of experience? She must have started programming when she was still a teenager. That still doesn't answer what she's doing in an abandoned church.
Why are there so many machines in this place?
I brought them here. These are my machines. Please don't touch anything.
Why do you need an antenna?
I use the AR-1 as my RAIM prefix processing unit.
I don't understand.
RAIM prefix is my radio computer.
And the antenna, it's processing unit?
Yes? You really don't know anything about radio computers, do you?
I really don't know much anything about this world, to be honest. Not really, no.
Alright. Well, all radio computers perform operations up on air. So in order to gain more processing power, you need to invest in a good antenna.
The AR-1, is it a good antenna?
I guess it is. So far, I've been quite satisfied with it. Martinez is an unstable region with bad coverage, and the operation has been surprisingly stable. But it's not the cheapest one on the market, so I wouldn't recommend it for your regular red tape operations. Fraser 1000 is a foolproof line for civilians. Anyway, you should do some research before you decide to buy anything. Ask around, compare the prices. There are many milieux dedicated to that sort of thing.
She liked telling you this. It calmed her nerves.
What are you doing with your radio computer?
I'm working.
Working on what?
Could you just shh for a moment? Or get to the point. I really need to focus on something.
It's not just rudeness. It really is hard to concentrate on whatever she needs to do. And you're not helping.
What about these bowls of water over there?
They are connected to my RAIN prefect. Whatever you do, just please don't move them, okay?
Right, I'll try not to touch anything. Next question.
Great.
What are you doing in an abandoned church?
You really like those questions, don't you?
I'm a police officer. It's my job to ask questions.
I'm conducting scientific research here. You can't throw me out.
He says ready to stand her ground. Okay, what research?
I'm looking for the location of a 2mm hole in the world.
What?
Wait, what? She's looking for a disruption in the radio waves. That's what her personal log said.
Yeah.
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything.
A hole in the world, what does that mean exactly?
Exactly. What does it mean? Up to now, it has been impossible to say what it is because it's impossible to measure nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it is? What qualities does nothing have? How do you measure something that does not exist?
You suddenly absorbed in the conversation, waiting for your answer?
That's a little above your pay grade at the moment.
Hold on a moment, does it mean we're now living in a world that has holes in it? Can't even understand how we're talking about something that doesn't exist, let alone measure it. I don't know, I'm not here for science, I just want to solve a murder so I can go home. Are we living in a world with holes in it?
I don't know. Are we? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. But how do I figure it out?
Can't even understand how we're talking about something that doesn't exist, let alone measure it.
You measure it by its surroundings, by that which does exist, which is what I've been trying to do. I've tried using hydro transducers to record the silence, to find out where it begins.
Yeah.
Hydro transducers. So that's what those water basins are. Devices for recording sound through water.
But honestly, it's not progressing very well.
You have any idea where this hole might be located?
Somewhere underneath those roof beams, I assume.
He looks up, eyes trying to pierce the pitch black heights above, but without much success.
Strange things may flourish in the dark.
Why there?
There's this place at the back of the church, a place where all audible vibrations seem to decease. I've named it the Swallow, and the higher you go, the less you record.
The Pillar of Silence? Are you sure it's not just an architectural quirk?
Maybe, but it's oddly close to the physical coordinates of the data loss that led me to this place.
This is where the Crabman lives.
I know.
You don't think the Crabman might be somehow responsible here?
No, I don't.
She sounds mildly annoyed by this line of questioning. Her hands typing hundreds of commands into the machine.
You said that the research isn't going well. Why not?
Because it's just trial and error, trying to locate the Swallow, the exact point in space. And I don't have a... You know what? It would be really helpful if you could just stop talking and let me work.
That hole connected to the data loss in your journal?
Yes, that's what led me here. But I suspect it might be something a bit more complicated than that.
That's all I wanted to know about the scary 2mm hole in the world for now.
Great. Thanks.
Have you seen the Crabman?
No.
But you know he's around.
Yes.
He's seen you. You must have seen him.
And?
The Crabman has seen you.
I don't care. I don't care about Crabmen.
How do you feel about hypnotic dance music?
What? I hate it.
What are you, 40? Is the future of dance music? Why do you hate it?
Maybe I'd have to be on drugs to get it, but to a sober mind it just sounds like uninspired rug whipping. No idea what it has to do with either dancing or music.
Right. How do you feel about a club for aerobic dance music?
This is about those speed freaks in the tent, isn't it? I've got some news for you. It's not a nightclub they want to build.
What
here.
do they want to build then?
Take a guess, why don't you?
I'm still convinced they want to establish a nightclub for aerobic dance music. They said it was their dream.
I can't believe they got you so easily. Go have another talk with those up-and-coming entrepreneurs, will you? Thanks.
Good luck. I'm not coming in there.
Alright, I'll let you work in peace now. Came from stained glass windows, still has letters on it too.
Hey, her Innocence Dolores Day liked little figurines, right? Liked holding little men between her fingers, remember?
What?
You have the Headless Fallen Rider figurine. You should give it to her. Win her back.
Wait, what? Look around. Win her back? I can't win her back. She's a long dead historical figure. I should, yes. This is a task of mine now.
So very, very, very nifty. Nifty and mysterious. This is surely what the figurines are for.
Alright, I'm done on the church. For now. We're gonna talk about kids.
Hi again. So, how are things going?
Logic. I can get that logic up.
Good. Hi again. So, how are things going?
I know Noid has his signs, but what's the deal with Egghead there?
He's a quiet man, mostly communicates through music, and by being a master of ceremonies.
I know it's a master of ceremonies. Do you communicate with him?
Well, he's just kinda here. I don't really know how to communicate with him.
Have you ever really talked to him?
Yeah, sometimes. When I stumble and find my way into his center, you have to hear a lot of hardcore to the mega first though.
The man smiles mysteriously, choosing to let the beat speak for itself.
Maybe everything isn't quite as you've been told. Take a moment to analyze.
A number of things don't add up. Let's take a look.
Crit.
How about gather around, kids?
I got bad news for you, Andre. Things don't add up.
What things?
He senses something is wrong.
Suna hinted that there's something else going on. Was it hard for you to keep sober for this meeting? This isn't the makings of a club, it's a tent full of laboratory equipment for drug manufacturing.
I have no idea how you arrived at that conclusion, but it's wrong. Look, we even have speakers.
One speaker. They have one speaker.
Where is his friend? Did he lose his friend? You have no headphones. Wouldn't SL need her headphones to spin tape?
What do you know about spinning tape? Nothing.
I know you pawned them, likely for lab equipment and drug ingredients.
I'm sorry, but there is no lab equipment and no drug ingredients.
That Nosafed is here for its active ingredient.
He said it was for his nose. What more do you want?
And where is his friend? Where did he lose his friend?
What do you mean,
The other
friend?
speaker. You only have one.
It's a one-speaker system. It's monodynamic. You wouldn't know the first thing about sound reproduction in anodic music. Other speaker.
The distilled water, cornerstone of a clean lab.
And of all cellular-based life, what's your point, Lawbringer?
The ether in the air, a useful solvent, good for getting acting agent out of a solution.
Make up your mind. First it's the sweat, then it's the ether.
There's no need for me to pile on anymore, is there?
No shit.
In short, you tried to use a police detective to set up a drug lab.
That's... Come on, that's...
Preposterous?
I meant to say, not true.
Is it hard to keep sober for this meeting?
We don't need drugs to be hardcore.
Shut the fuck up, Egg.
Maybe not today, Egg, but you need drugs to get through the days when you're not expecting me.
Climb down from the equestrian monument, cop man. Consciousness is new to the universe. We all have our ways to ease the shock.
Bottom line is, I know.
What exactly is it you know?
What are we gonna do with you?
What do you mean, do?
There's resignation in his voice. He's almost ready to drop the act. It wouldn't take a lot of pushing. The optimal way to go about this would be indifference. It begins by you telling him you don't care about any of
We do
this.
this lawman style. First tell me everything, then I pass judgment. You tell me what's really going on and we'll work from there. I can be lenient. I just wanted to crack the case. Do what you want and I'll do what I want.
What do you mean by lenient?
Now call back up and hauling you off to the pen for starters.
Okay, man.
He
Okay.
raises his hands.
Things are just so hard for an entrepreneur in this city right now. It's not like we lied when we said we want to turn a church into the wickedest club in East Revershoal.
Because we do! We totally do!
We just need to turn it into a speed lab before.
To get our foot in the door.
And why did you need me?
Like I told you, spooky arseholes moved in while I was getting all this stuff together. A month ago, the place was empty, and now it's all spooked up.
They're not really spooky, are they?
No, man. They're spooky, all right. It's just that they would also probably call the police if we started cooking speed in there.
But the sign was way off too! I couldn't feel the love at all!
Sir, you promised you'd be lenient.
This is it. Judgment time.
Let's do this clean. No speed lab, just a club for anecdotic music. It wouldn't work without the lab. Do whatever you need to keep the club alive. Just a club of anecdotic music.
Yeah!
Is it his teeth beam in the floodlight?
I knew it.
Would-be leader drops his spiked head between his knees.
It's impossible now.
No, Andre, it's harder now. This hard cop has come to show us how much the fish is, and the fish is always so much more. We all know there was never going to be a club for anodic music with the Speed Lab. Now it has a fighting chance.
What's that about a fish?
There needs to be a club for Nordic music in there. Needs to. Everyone hates each other. Everybody hates it here. It's all just drugs and we're slaves and I can't. We are running out of time. We need a win, Andre. I promise this will be a win. We won't cook speed in there. We'll do it clean. We'll do it true. We'll do it sober and real and beautiful. This will be a victory for the light.
Right, let's call this incident crime prevention, but I have my eyes on you.
Okay, we'll try to do it without the drugs. We'll do a straight club up in there, spinning the maddest reels, and nothing but, I swear to God. Okay, Ed?
Okay.
From here on, it'll be straight all the way.
About the church, I checked it out.
And? What
I
happened?
talked to the crab man.
Oh, man! Who is he? What did you think?
Seemed okay. To be honest, very spiritual.
Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church?
He clearly enjoys the physical activity. Guy climbs like a freak. Just preaching and praying from the looks of it.
No matter. Is he gonna be a problem?
No.
Yeah, Noid is right. Let's get back to the point. What are we gonna do about him?
These guys will never catch him. You will never catch him. There's nothing to do.
He keeps himself physically active, thinks spiritual thoughts, and doesn't drink. Who am I to evict such a person? Not going to leave. He'll climb around there and you guys will never catch him. Actually, he told me he wouldn't mind the nightclub at all.
I dunno, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice friendly hyper time?
Don't worry, I don't think he really gives a damn about you or anyone else. I think you're gonna have to live with the crab man.
I guess it's not a massive problem, now that I think of it.
Everyone is welcome to dance till the morning light. Yeah!
Maybe. I guess we'll figure something
I was
out.
using the main.
Okay, but what about the other spooker? The one in Grandma's clothes? Did you see her?
I was using the mainframe when Suna, the former program leader of Fortress Accident, appeared.
A programmer? That's odd. What was she like? Did you ask her about the nightclub?
She is not like Insonic Dance Club idea.
What a pity! That's my favourite thing in the world! And she doesn't like it at all!
A shame. What can we do now? Do you see a way out of this jam? And into a laser-lit future of dance and unity?
Unity! Dance!
She made it very clear she won't leave until her own project is finished.
And you can't just evict her?
No, I won't evict her. We have to come up with a different solution.
Look at you, Honor Man!
No, Noid. He's right. Maybe we've approached it the wrong way after all. I'm sure there's a workaround. We can make a deal not to bother her.
Yeah.
If that's okay with her, we only want to get in the church and spread the joy and ecstasy of music.
The lines in the dark exist, coexist.
At least Crabman seems like an advanced being. He's hard. He'll understand.
Yeah, he can do his climbing thing in the tower. And the programmer, does she like Nordic dance music?
He absolutely does not. Really, truly despises it.
Egghead cannot believe what she just said. It makes him pump the jam a little slower for a moment, but then he returns to the full swing of it.
No worries. We'll figure it out. If coexisting fails, you can always muscle her out, right? If it's all okay with you, what do you think?
I refuse to throw her out, but I can try convincing her.
Excellent! Good luck, my friend.
That's it for now.
Goodbye, officer.
Huh? I see you're here again. Offside, man. Did I... Nah. You heard me.
Vic, trip, hard, internally.
Encore! All right! Yeah!
He furrows his brow as his very large head traces the sublime invisible movement of the music.
Hardcore! Ah! Is it though? But is it? I mean, really?
He tilts his head to the other side like an owl.
Feels like you should reply with the very pinnacle of idiocy here. so that things get totally transcendent. But you haven't gotten there yet, so you don't know what to say.
I was thinking that too.
I am the Mike Enforcer.
Talk to a cell.
Hello again.
Your associates tried to use me to set up a drug lab. I'm guessing you knew of this plan.
I did, and I'm sorry. For what it's worth, which isn't much.
This is why I didn't go into the tent. Typical delinquency.
You don't get to choose your posse, they choose you. Mine are idiots, but they're mine. I tried to talk Andre out of it. I even tried not to lie to you.
Indeed, she merely tried to omit the truth instead.
That you opted to admit the truth, it's the same thing.
I know, but I knew you'd see through their plan too. I'm not an idiot. I should have been able to control them, and I will in the future. I promise. May I ask, what did you tell them?
Do what you want with your dance clubs, just no drugs labs, please.
Thank you. I'll get them under wraps, I promise.
That's it for now. And crank empathy? I haven't put a point in empathy yet? Huh. How can I get my empathy? Shoes give empathy? +1 now.
Hello again.
I can try again if I fail.
The device is still warm from her touch and heavy as a brick from the batteries inside. The company logo, Omicron, adorns its yellow plastic cover. Inside, the tape is rolling. The girl looks at the device in your hands.
I'm sorry you have to sit there on the ice feeling miserable at your age or at any age in this weather waiting for it to get dark.
She looks you in the eye, her pupils wide, surrounded by a ridiculous amount of makeup.
People who built this world intended it to be better for you, but they failed. Easier to live in their failure with this by your side. Tap on the tape recorder.
The wind howls. She remains silent. It's real. Tell her.
It's not a childish fantasy. It can be a real weapon against what's coming for you now.
What is?
Dark. Nothing if you got this. Don't be scared.
Okay, I'll stick to it.
Something changes between you two. She looks at you differently now. As an equal. A fellow human being.
So thanks, I guess, for the psych session. Maybe I can return it. What's been eating you, officer?
You said eating me. There's nothing eating me.
Come on, I can tell. But, okay. Be a boyadero about it if you want to.
I guess there's something that's been making my life hell.
What is it?
I think it's the plight of the working class. Everyone's just mooching off the entrepreneurial class, shackling the doers. People just putting their selfish interests ahead of the greater good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no one understands that sometimes you gotta make sacrifices for the sake of progress. It's very distressing.
So, the thing that's been eating you is the slow pace of social progress.
Don't get me wrong, I'm all for slow and steady progress. I just wish people would be a little bit more reasonable is all. No, that's probably not it, is it?
No, it sounds like you've just got chick issues.
Now that you mentioned I found these letters I'd thrown in the trash, they might have something to do with it.
Okay. Why'd you think that?
They were written in a woman's hand, and oh boy, did reading them make me feel not feel good.
There you have it then, chick trouble. Not political after all. Who was
I don't
she?
remember.
Really? You seem to be pretty upset about this chica. Are you sure you don't remember anything about her?
Yep, next to nothing.
Wow, man. That's some pretty strange shit. Are you sure the letters were for you?
Yeah, I'm sure. Why else would I have reacted so strongly otherwise?
How come you don't remember, though? Is it like some selective memory thing?
Hey, what do you mean selective memory?
Man, when I get hurt, I just want to forget that shit, you know? That kind of selective memory.
You know, I might have a point there, selective memory.
Yeah. Or it might just be some psych bullshit, you know? Königstein wank.
What is Königstein wank?
You know, the psych thing they've got going on there. Rich people like it. People in Königstein are mostly rich.
Thanks for the bullshit psych thing, then.
You're welcome. Might be for the best to keep that shit forgotten, though. Just my opinion. If it itches, don't scratch.
Yes, but it itches really, really bad.
Thank you.
Yes, what is it?
What if you didn't have to leave? I talked to Andre, he wants to make it work.
I don't want to make anything work.
Hold on, you don't want to make anything work?
Yes, anything. I don't want to make anything work.
It's not the anodic dance music that's made her bitter. It's the failure of Fortress Accident.
I'll bring it up.
She gets back to work.
Research didn't go well. Discover Fortress accident. Discuss. Convince her to cooperate with ravers.
Easy. When her research is done, she can move out.
Listen to your research. You mentioned earlier that it's not going very well. How can... Maybe I can help with something?
What? No, I don't really need any help with the
But if I
project.
can help you finish the project, then you wouldn't have to live in a church next to the Boom Boom anymore. Just think about it.
She thinks about it, a glassy look in her eyes. A gust of wind brings more snow in from the broken gallery. It touches her hair.
All right. Bring me the game's offside copy from my old workspace, if you really want to help. It's stored on a filament memory, and I'm unable to go and fetch it myself.
What is an offsite copy and why do you need it?
It's a backup of my former employer's project, the radio game we were working on. It's stored on a filament memory, just like the one inside this radio computer.
What's the glowing cube inside the machine?
The backup itself is destroyed now, but I'm hoping to use what's left of it to pinpoint the exact location of the anomaly.
By your old workshop,
You
do
just
you
have
mean
to
the
go to my
Fortress
old
accident
workspace
in
and
the
get the
Doom
filament.
commercial area?
Yeah, that's the one. You can get in through the bookshop. You just have to do some explaining to the bookstore lady.
Wait, bookstore lady? You mean Plaisance?
That's her name, I believe.
Actually, I've already been inside the Doom commercial area.
Good. Then you might know the giant ice bear fridge in the building's cellar. The filament is inside the fridge. Just go and get it.
And where exactly is the offsite copy?
In the giant ice bear fridge. I just told you. It has red glowing eyes. It's impossible to miss. You just need to get the offside copy from the ice bear.
But you've been to the fridge and it wasn't there. There was a note saying,
I found a note from the Ice Bear fridge. It said the offsite copy had been moved to a safer place.
Wait. A note from whom? Did it specify where they took the filament memory?
It said the offsite copy had been taken to a nearby ice cream maker. The note was signed by someone named Sulislav.
Jawiza. Of course. Our project lead, Sulisław Jawiza. God, he was always so hell-bent on keeping the copy somewhere safe. That feature creep and the Valley of the Heads. Like it would have made a difference. The offside copy was perfectly safe when the data loss happened. That data loss was anomalous.
Roses are honored defiantly.
And the heads... I won't even get into the heads. Millions of them. Go find that copy from that ice cream maker, will you? Thanks.
I found the ice cream maker, but I couldn't get it open. It's completely frozen.
This is getting ridiculous. Can't you just defrost it? Or, I don't know. I don't know about the ice cream maker. Just figure something out.
There's a solution, but she doesn't want to hand it over to you yet. It's a thing. Something she holds dear.
Why couldn't you go get the filament yourself?
The bookstore lady hates me. Says I'm part of the curse. Whatever that means.
Why does she think you're part of the curse?
Because she's from Martinez, and people from Martinez have never ever seen a radio computer. She thinks it emits elemental evil.
A bit biased, don't you think?
No. She literally started praying for the higher powers when she first saw my Rain Civic. I'm not making this up.
The lieutenant coughs like he's amused.
Once I came in one morning, only to find that my terminal was full of those strange trinkets and amulets. Wards. It looked like some Semenine magic.
Alright, I'll go look for the offsite copy.
Thanks.
She thinks for a moment, then reaches behind the radio computer and hands you what looks like an oversized pry bar.
And here's my Kvalsund multitool. You might need it to hack loose some ice. It opens everything. If you get me the offside copy, then you can keep the Kvalsund.
It hurts a bit for her to say this. She's not too happy to be parting with the Kvalsund.
Where's the place for now? Interesting. Got a new tool? Oh, it's a saw. Advanced pry bar. A pry bar +2, if you will, built by Karlsvond and Vasa. A number of gadgets hidden within the frame of the yellow and gray multi-tool will stagger any technician. Alright, I cleared the church. Relax, it's not yours. You didn't crash every MC Rebajal, hopefully. No boat in the boathouse today. Section of the coast hasn't been used in decades. Glasses? Savion flat. Boathouse is shoddily constructed, a strong breeze will blow it over. Money. Please move so I can go up the stairs. Ancient paint is peeling off the roof of the shitty bench covered in rust. Sign reads, Entree Interdite.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
Look, came even more bullet holes. Something definitely got down here.
Correct. The density of the bullet holes is unusual. Even in a general average bullet hole frequency in Martinez sense, grim affairs.
Oh.
Meaning, this is a lot of bullet holes. Looks like fully automatic rifle fire. Something you don't see these days.
Why not?
The manufacturing and sale of automatic rifles was curtailed after the revolution. The destructive power of such tools proved to be too much. We do need to retain some humanity in this world.
Visual calculus. Visual calculus.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the
Why
other.
is there so many bullet holes?
A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet. No sound.
Ruh-roh.
No movement. 10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner. Automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. Snowflakes fall on the wooden planks and the surrounding sand dunes, covering the land with the white of incense. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace remains.
What is this?
The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed.
Look at the people against the wall.
A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations, as demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes. They stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background. Ordinary people, familiar, each and every one of them.
Who are they?
Comrades, the forsaken, the wretched, who tried to rise against the horrors of the world.
Look at the lines of soldiers.
7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side, but from which one? Men of duty, dark duty.
Who were they?
Murderers, twisted by orders, young boys forced into killing.
Look at the person standing on the side.
The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air. The lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face.
Kim, who did this execution?
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution. Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition forces.
Remember what Trent Heidelstein said about Veld?
What if this was a failed personnel with their assets being seized by the revolutionaries?
Another likely scenario.
Or maybe...
You mentioned coalition forces. Could it have been them against the wall?
Yeah. It's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the wall. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was a commandant, the superior giving the orders.
A cold sea wind blows away the figures.
a hat. +2 logic, -1 perception. Ah! Definitely got all the logic now. Door is not only barred shut, it is inaccessible. No ticket taker no longer in operation. Are you by over there? No. Oh, hey, it's the dudes.
That patch of reeds over there, it's a great place to hide something. Kind of out of the way, being so close to the water.
What is this about?
Nothing. Just a hunch. The hunch passes, leaving you there, by the old boy bobbing in the water.
Buoy?
Time to go.
Buoy bobs in the water. The number it says is 11. It's these dudes. Tiny cage is carefully constructed.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap. He notices you.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officers.
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements ungainly. He looks like your understanding of a scientist.
Is that the police? Why are the police here?
Crypto-fascist?
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it.
You must be Morel, the cryptozoologist.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Lena sent me. She's really worried about you and is waiting for you to get back.
Of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken. And we can't go all the way around the 881.
Yeah, that was me. I broke the water locked with the carriage. It was fine when I crossed it. I told the whole story.
Oh, good. We should really be getting back. Gary could use a hot shower and a warm bed.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary. We can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we go in.
He refastens a bit of netting that comes loose in the wind.
For all his passion, this man is diligent and patient. You could learn things from him.
Tell me about this phasmid you're looking for.
Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it.
What makes it so difficult to find?
Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? And I suspect it may have also developed other specialised techniques to protect itself from predators or scientists in our present case.
What sort of specialized techniques is the phasmid using to hide itself?
It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defences that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex. But I cannot describe how these defences work, much less how they evolved, without studying a live specimen.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. You're beginning to suspect there's something paranatural about this phasmid.
How big is this phasmid?
I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodea zoensis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm. So,
Why are you so interested in this stick bug? Aren't there other sensational animals out there?
typical rookie assumption. Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for.
Ah.
Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of of any cryptozoologist's career. But to study it and its defences, find out how it stayed hidden so long.
Shakes his head.
Would be glory itself.
What have you discovered so far?
Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third-hand accounts.
And no one's ever found one?
Not yet. That's what makes it a cryptid.
Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real?
I know it's real.
Cryptozoologist says brusquely enough that even he seems taken aback by it.
By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition.
What makes you think the phasmid is here in Martinez?
There was a credible sighting here recently. A pair of teenagers described a creature that matched the Insulindian phasmid to an uncanny degree, despite not knowing what it was themselves. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore.
Maybe the Insulindian phasmid has died out?
I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis.
Got it.
Parthenogenesis, meaning the females don't need males to reproduce. Makes it easier for a species to survive in adverse conditions.
Pretty clever?
Yes, the Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I'll try my best to remain dispassionate.
There's nothing dispassionate about the way he talks about the insect.
Tell me about these traps.
Well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick.
They designed the traps?
Yes.
How do you know the traps work?
Simple. Attracted by the locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel and, having eaten its fill, can't get back out. At least, that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton.
What are you using as bait?
Locusts. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course. But we've hypothesized that the Insulindian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects.
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny, chittering swarm. A meat-eating stick insect? Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush
A
behavior?
carnivorous stick
This
insect
seems
unlikely.
Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism.
Not a big fan of skepticism, this one.
What will you do if the traps don't work?
They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams, which use plants. We have given this some thought.
Let me ask you something else.
Yes. What?
How did you become a cryptozoologist?
I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both.
He seems reluctant to talk about himself, but he'll open up. If you promise.
You're living your childhood dream out here.
It's not child's play. Just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often.
His eyes narrows. Why not just be a zoologist? Real animals are puzzling too. Have you ever discovered a cryptid?
No. Very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name, cryptid.
How many cryptids have been found?
Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemnee, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection.
Only 2 have been proven to be real?
Yes, the Chateau Quan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Yugograd, who is, honestly, quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching.
2 out of 400 out of 4,000 is not even 1%. I'm not gonna yuck this guy's yum. And the insolent prison Phasmid will be the 3rd.
Indeed. If our expedition is successful, every paper in the world will report on it. From Revachol to Dushantu. It will be a zoological miracle.
He has clearly done his math on this. There is no surprising him or swaying his opinion.
Thanks for explaining that. Now about something else. Why not be a zoologist?
Real. I know you think one is a respectable profession, while the other is superstition. Everyone does.
I don't. It's a profession just like any other.
Indeed. My methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence. And I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen.
And has anything truly surprising ever happened to you?
No. As I said, I have yet to catch a cryptid. Although I have come close. Close enough to keep trying.
Interesting. Something for later, this close call.
What kind of evidence do you use?
Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper accounts, like the one that brought us here, to look for the Phasmid. I keep a very open mind.
Thanks for explaining that. Now about something else.
Yes?
Mina seems pretty eager for you to return.
And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you. But I can't leave before we finish with these traps. My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
Okay.
Come on, Morale. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back.
And leave the traps? Absolutely not. I won't let Lena down.
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon.
Won't let Lena down? Sounds like the cryptozoologist's wife shares a special connection to the Phasmid somehow.
I don't know the Phasmid was so important. Didn't know Phasmid was so important to Lena.
Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting, on record. One of only 4 this century, and it's hers.
Really? She sighted the Phasmid?
Yes. That's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine.
He coughs, then continues.
Needless to say, you must ask her about the mysterious Phasmid.
Definitely.
Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian Phasmid together. I can't abandon course now.
Maybe you could go back to the whirling, warm up, come back, check the traps later?
No, no, no. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the Phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel?
He's dead set on this.
What if we check the traps for you?
I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer.
Cryptozoology and detective work are very similar.
Yes, indeed. Both require a great deal of research, attention to detail, and, above all, persistence.
Where are these traps?
There are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there. It's very near. Another we set in Land's End, to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there. On your way to the old radio tower, after the church. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed, by a concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them...
He gestures to the trap in front of him.
You should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's more of a technicality, but still, better safe and stupid than sorry.
That seems like a lot. Do we really have time for this extracurricular venture?
Pursuit of knowledge is its own justification.
Is it?
He doesn't look too convinced, but the small shrug indicates why not.
If you think it's important, you have been right before.
What do I do if there's a phasmid in one of the traps?
Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight.
He's not comfortable with the possibility that you'll claim the find, but he's lying about this even to himself.
What if I encounter a phasmid in the wild?
That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do, I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed. It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last you about a week.
Lay it on me.
Wise choice.
He doused you with the hot smelling spray and gives you satisfying nod.
I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious like holy water.
It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research.
He looks at the lieutenant with disdain, then puts the spray back in the pocket.
Right, which means you two can pack up and go back to the boiling.
Whatever he thinks about this detour, it's clear that these men are exhausted and in need of assistance.
Finally, someone's talking sense.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be gone once you get to it.
If it's more cryptid-related business you want to discuss, you'll have time for that later too.
Great.
But what if the information is vital? On the hunt.
I'll get going.
Hello, I'm Gary. Very generous of you to help us out, officer. Yellow man.
Whoa.
Officer.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his notebook. Yellow man. Interesting. This is something to ask him about, after a little probing first.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization.
Yeah, I'm more of a city boy too.
I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
Degenerates? This man respects authority too much. To see the truth inscribed upon thine own visage. Pretend thou art a paragon of virtue.
And neither of those things, I can assure you. I am a by-the-books, clean as a whistle officer of the law. I am not even tempted to touch intoxicants.
I've been tempted on occasion, but someone has to stay strong for Revocol.
Gaze shifts to a pile of soggy logs at his feet.
He pronounces Revocol
Yeah.
with a hard K, unlike other people. Serious question time. This man is no innocent. No one is.
You said Revocol?
I like to pronounce it the hard way. The old way. The Vespertine way.
He nods on.
The stupid way. He winks at you, trying to relay some hidden message, inviting you to mispronounce it too, perhaps. It's odd. It's a secret rite. A very fringe nationalist handshake, probably.
Do you know anything about the man hanged behind the whirling rags?
Oh, so that's what the RCM in Martinez is about. Great. Great to hear someone's finally taking care of that.
So you do know something about it?
No. Nothing. He was some kind of mercenary. But everyone here knows that. I'm just glad to hear you're looking into it. That's all.
He's not feeling very comfy in his clothes, is he? Strange. He didn't kill him or anything, but there's something going on here.
Is this your mug? Hold up the...
My mug? Why would you think that?
You said yellow man. That's not something I've seen many people go around saying.
Really? I hear it all the time. All in jest, of course. No offense meant to anyone.
Still seems suspicious that I mentioned the mug was found at the scene of the lynching. Alright, I believe you. You look like the kind of man who knows it's a crime to lie to an officer.
Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. I know I shouldn't have, and I am very sorry, officer.
He pauses.
You're not going to find me, are you?
Oh, wow.
Oh, God. 250? How am I gonna pay that? Okay. I'll work harder. I'll pay it off. I promise.
This is a considerable expense to him. 1 month's wage, most likely. It's, in a way, admirable how quickly he composes himself after such a blow. This man digs authority, even when it's bullying him.
And I'll never do it again. I don't know what got into me, really. Work has been stressful lately. Damn Koiko's price dumping us out of competition.
What did you do, Gary?
Nothing. Just answering some questions. Helping out the law.
Here we go. Start pumping that sweet info.
How did you get into the trash container?
I know a guy who works with the trash collection services. CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Martinez.
Why would you need it to get into everyone's trash?
So I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Hemians run it like a mob. I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have disgraced myself.
Yeah.
Disgraced? No need for the histrionic, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container.
He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't answer.
Gary, did you put the clothes of the murder victim? Did you put the clothes of the murder victim, the man who was hanged behind the whirling rag, into the trash container?
Officer, please. Let me explain. It's not like that.
You.
I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know?
Okay, then what happened?
Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them into the Whirling's trash, along with a broken mug, admittedly.
He changes his mind mid-sentence.
Okay. I was coming to throw the mug away, and, well, I threw the mug there and the clothes too.
Right. It was just civic duty.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Civic duty.
You wouldn't know anything about the victim's missing armor, would you?
Armor? No. I mean, yes. Of course. I know he was wearing armor, but I don't know anything about it.
An infant could see he's not telling the truth, but he's too scared to admit more wrongdoing. There's something going on here. You should observe him more closely after this topic is concluded.
Let's move on for now.
I hope I could help your investigation, in my small way.
Does this mean you were in his apartment, admiring his colonial mug collection? Perhaps it would be interesting to tell him.
Are you a cryptozoologist too?
No. I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way, but I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own.
You were surprised to see my colleague, Lieutenant Kirisaga?
Not many Sealites here, or anywhere, other than Sail. I meant no offense, truly.
Do you remember how, when we met Measurehead and I said the next races will be a really good one?
I think so. Sorry, as you know, I've been having problems with. Yes?
Well, this is that racist.
Are you, Gary? Are you racist?
Hey, man. All I meant was there are not many Sealites around here. I'm just stating a
Have a
fact.
problem with Soliites?
No, no problem at all.
Flashes an impenetrable smile at the lieutenant. So, Gary, do you live nearby in an apartment in Martinez?
Sure do, officer.
You a big Heimdall fan?
How?
I saw the ridiculous poster in your apartment along with all your other colonialist memorabilia.
But why were you in my apartment, officer?
Mr. Yvart Claire asked me to get your door open. I figured I'd take a look while I was at it.
So you work for Everard Clare? Officer, please tell him we're good. No, tell him I'll make it up to him. What have I done? He'll send the muscle after me.
He looks around, whispering, make sure no one hears him talk.
As he lowers his tone, he hunches his back.
Try not to shoot yourself, Gary. It's just an open door.
What could it be about? I probably talked too loud. In the whirling. About some theories I had. Whatever it is, I'm done with it. I won't do it again. If there's anything I can do to assist you, or the Union, just ask, okay? I'll try to help if I can.
This scared him proper. He's positively melting from fear. Has to prop himself up with a lot of anger to keep it together.
The weather vane has turned. He cannot be unturned.
He clearly liked his squirming. He may even have changed his mind about the whole door opening operation.
The shoes give me composure, right?
Always a I mean, officers.
Five plus 2 is 7, so I need 7 or better.
That shirt looks very uncomfortable on him. Look at the buttons, barely keeping that thing together, as if something is ready to rip out from underneath.
His massive musculature? Something worn underneath it.
It sounds like he's wearing some kind of armor under his clothes. You can't tell it's there just from looking at him. Probably stolen from the corpse in the yard near where he lives.
I see you're a connoisseur of high-quality combat gear, Gary.
I knew you'd figure it out, officer. I'm sorry I didn't tell you at once.
He unbuttons his shirt.
I was ashamed of what I did. And I didn't want you to know.
You see gleaming white ceramic shrine underneath a thin layer of interlocking plates covering his gaunt torso.
We're not detecting falsehood, sire. He's gearing up to admit the truth. This shame is surprisingly sincere.
Gary, what's going on?
Later, Morale. I've got apologizing to do.
No, you've got explaining to do.
Give me the armor now.
He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass that matches the dead man's boots comes into view. Soon it is in your hands, smelling of his sweat.
Why did you really put the clothes in the trash?
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was watching them do it. And they'd scattered his clothes all over the yard. Everything was smelling.
He looks at his feet.
So I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner. They all say he wasn't from here. Only the cuirass was left. So I stripped it off him.
Cuirass?
It was early in the morning. No one saw me.
Chess piece?
I took it with me. It was a mistake. Had I known it'd give you guys trouble, I wouldn't have... Fuck.
We're detecting sincere contrition here, sire. He's not trying to flatter anyone.
It's okay. It was a loose end, and you are tying it up now.
I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man. Sealite officers commanded the suzerain's navy. most of them sided with the king when...
He shakes his head.
It's difficult to say what the lieutenant thinks of this historic apology. His face does not belie emotions.
You know who killed the hangman?
I always thought it was the Union, but I sure as hell won't go around saying that anymore. You have my word. I don't know, and I won't be running my mouth on this subject anymore.
This is all he knows.
Why did you lie to me, Gary?
Because I was weak. I should have told you the moment I saw you, but...
The hell, Gary? You in trouble?
I'll explain later.
Are we done here, Gary?
Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again. I won't mess with Mr. Clare either. You have my word.
Thank you for your cooperation. Interesting. Heavy military blockades are riddled with bullet holes. Possibly the fire going into the ocean.
There's a trap in the reeds at your feet. Looks like the same one you saw Morel set before. Same mesh, same wiring.
Yeah.
Behind you, the ruins of a residential building rise over the reeds, shielding them from the wind. The reeds rustle confidently.
Reach for the trap.
Locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused but uneaten. You see no carnivorous reed phasmid gorging on them.
Big surprise. Anyway, 1 down, 3 to go.
Hoping it would be in the first one.
No, you weren't.
He looks in the sea, then you laying in the trap back down the ground.
Behind you, the ruins of a residential building. This is the trap Morel just set. Checking it over, he said, is just a technicality. But
Right.
the reeds by the abandoned campsite hiss and shake. The later it gets, the colder. Remnants of the camp can still be seen in the sand. The fire that's gone out. You feel strange,
Reach
somehow.
for the trap.
This trap is also full of panicked locusts. No sign of any cryptozoological beast inside.
Another empty trap.
Let's keep going. The next lucky one.
Yep. The next one has a crab trapped in it. These are just crab traps, you do realize.
I'm out. Did I turn the... Oh, I didn't.
The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. They must have been like this for 40 years.
Try to see inside.
Dripping water falls from a high place. All you can see is the shadow of a collapsing staircase. There's rust and corrosion on the bars. They're foaming with it. And a small layer of white salt from the sea.
Lieutenant, can you make out what's inside?
No. I won't even try. You know,
He takes his glasses out.
I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things. It's that bad.
Can you still shoot, though?
Well enough, actually. It's odd how that works. I'm no sharpshooter, but I passed my shooting courses 7 out of 10.
Hey, not concerning at all.
As As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound.
And how did this jacket get so disgusting?
It's a sordid, filthy tale, not for the weak. Are you sure you can stomach it? Some secrets are better left uncovered. Don't even try. Seriously.
Got it.
It occurs to you that you're not even holding the jacket itself, but rather the thick crust of jetsam and seagull shit that ensconces it. Why? Why did you think about it? Look at your hands. They're covered in muck.
Lick your hands.
Now you're just flicking that shit everywhere. This is a disaster. You'll never get the smell out. As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound.
Did I fondle the shit jacket again?
There is no why.
Just put it away then. Oh, there's more up here. But yeah, the big line of canisters open and empty. Careful there, the floorboards look rotten and weak.
The smell. It's awful and familiar.
What is it?
Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency. That faintly
corpse?
cloying sweetness. Only death smells like that. Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. Fear.
Heads up, Lieutenant, something's not right here.
The lieutenant has already brought a handkerchief to his nose. There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin.
Examine the tear.
2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent porter is all you find.
A tragedy.
Lieutenant looks in the can, eyes watering from the smell.
He shakes his head with genuine sadness.
Examine the cigarette package.
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The brand name reads Red Astra.
Examine the kebab wrapper.
You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads Shish Kebab Revachol. It's no older than a day or two. No mold yet.
Operator viewers been out of order for years. Comments are in the coin viewer.
A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his cramped hand, a chewing gum wrapper.
Hold on.
Lieutenant squats next to the corpse and examines his face. 2 bulging eyes stare back at him, void of any signs of life.
Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is, he's been dead for 2 days. No longer.
Yeah.
We need to investigate.
Another dead body. This is your job.
Steal yourself.
Steal yourself. Calm now. Carefully. Just another day. Just another dead body. Breathe.
Check the man's clothes.
He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest. The leather jacket suits him well. It must be custom
Search
made.
his pockets.
You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into 2. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is
Or
done.
the man himself.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his feet is still dangling through the hole. You have to be quite inebriated to fall that bad. Well over a liter of pure ethanol. 3 bottles of wine, or 1.5 of spirits. Or maybe it was just dark.
Examine his face.
His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his mustache. His eyes, empty and wide, look frightening in their frozen gaze. Height, 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair, stout build. Age, approximately 50 to 60
Check his
years.
surroundings.
There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clutched in his fist.
Examine the man's
A
head.
dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. an open wound. It's sticky and cold to your touch. This is what killed him.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you?
Hard to say.
Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
Examine the chewing gum wrapper.
Grabowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall.
Again.
The blackness of death. Stench. You think you see white chewing gum too?
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol before going home. The worst thing is, I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
Examine the bottle.
A .75 liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. There's hardly anything left inside. It's mid-market spirits with a slight touch of menthol. The man meant to enjoy himself, have a good time.
Tear all around us.
He looks at the two other bottles forgotten near the coin-operated viewer.
They screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead man's weight was the cause of the boardwalk to break. It definitely looks fragile. He could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole, and you would have never found him. The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a step back.
Who's this man?
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here.
He looks south the way you came.
But that's just a lazy assumption. What do you think?
At least this man knew how to party. Imagine the same scene without the bottle. Now that would be just sad. This is an omen, a sign from above. Don't start drinking again.
He looks like me. I could have ended up just like this, dead on some empty board with the bottle next to my corpse.
Well, at least you're not married.
Lieutenant points to the brain of the black man's flesh is swollen and gray.
Or, what if you are?
But let's try to not run ahead. For now, all we know is that he's an unidentified middle-aged man found dead on the Martinez boardwalk.
What do you think happened here?
Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive.
Which should be held responsible for the broken boardwalk. It's dangerous. What about the kebab?
What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place, maybe in the box.
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
Do you think he was drunk?
Oh yes.
What about alcohol poisoning and liver failure?
Some symptoms of acute alcohol poisoning could have definitely played a role here. Severe confusion, respiratory depression, unpredictable behavior. But I think that death arrived through head trauma, not liver failure.
Could it be related to the lynching?
No, I don't see anything that points in that direction. For now, let's treat this case as a simple, albeit sad, accident, unrelated to the murder case.
Agreed. If this somehow converges later, why not? But keep it simple for now.
Someone should be held responsible for the dangerous boardwalk.
They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition officials. I doubt that they have enough resources to actually repair the boardwalk. Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away. All it does is keep the city council's hands clean.
Right.
It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure, although there's still a question of identifying the body.
What should we do with him?
From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle.
We found the body. We finished this.
Alright, we should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from my kinema. Let them know we are taking the case.
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Jamrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean, expires July 53. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased, or his family
Look
member.
inside.
Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the sun. The last one in the list is The Glinting Curve by M. Theobald. A library stamp indicates that the book has been returned. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. Some thrillers too.
Look on the backside.
If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211 or visit us at Moreau Street, 78, Jamrock. Business hours, 900 to 1800.
Good. We should give them a call from my kinema. See if we can learn anything about Billy Méjean.
Right away. Sunshine probably smells like tasty fermentation.
There's some tear, an empty... This traps the reeds sway in the coastal breeze. They seem to be waiting for something. The wind picks up here, near the Cape's end, surrounding the narrow strip of land from 3 cardinal directions. It's cold for this time of year.
Reach for the trap.
Nothing but locusts in this trap as well. Definitely no cryptozoological monstrosity.
Empty us, all of them. One more of these and we are done.
Bummer if it wasn't here. Bummer it wasn't in here.
I'm just glad we haven't found some poor cat trapped in one of these.
Okay. That's scary.
An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot.
Interfacing. Tell the kids about making friends.
Hello again.
Hi again. So, how are things going? Yes? What's the deal?
Sona agreed with your nightclub plan, but I promised to help her with the project first. It's gonna take some time.
All right, do what you gotta do, man. We trust you. If you need any help, let us know. Good.
That's it for now. Where's the last trap? Oh, it was down here.
It takes you a moment, but finally you spot the last of Morel's traps. This one's partially obscured by the reeds. The reeds bend forlornly toward the water. Some tufts have been crushed. Broken stalks, sickly pale against the darkness. In the east, the city center hums to you. The constant, distant song, louder on this part of the coast, nearer somehow. And there's that cold again. Always the cold.
Reach for the trap.
The trap feels light and silent as you pick it up. Something is different here. No locust. No phasmid either. But still.
Look closer still.
Well, the bait worked on something. This doesn't mean it was a reed monster, though. Unless you see one in there. I just see an empty trap.
Probably wasn't the Phasmid, but still Morale needs to know.
Okay. But after that, we get back to our own assignments. There really is no explanation for this detour right now. None. None.
Actually, does this dude have headphones?
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything.
Something else to sell?
Sure. Let me have a look.
Some armor?
Alright. Let's see it.
Also, I'm curious.
Oh, no, 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 no. I don't need bloodthirsty mercenaries knocking on my door looking for their missing toys. Besides, this gear costs a fortune. There's no one in Martinez with that kind of money.
It feels like he would have accepted the risk if he hoped to profit from it. It's not greed, though. Deep down, he's a gambler, provided the stakes are sufficiently interesting.
I'll check my...
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Nope.
Another time, perhaps.
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps. The boomboxes wait on the shelves, and your boombox, that gold and amber Harmon Waushi, stares at you longingly with its tape reel eyes.
I don't know. Could this device come in handy in my police work?
If police work means playing tapes, sure. You can use it for that. Or any other time you'd need to play a tape.
You see rows of toy soldiers guard.
Alright, time to get out of here. Okay. Let's save it there. Now we're done. Alrighty. Woo! There we was a doozy of an episode. I got through most of the stuff on the kind of western side. Found the cryptozoologist, talked him out of it. Found someone who was at the scene. I think I have to follow up with him, with Gary. See if he's got a little bit more information now that I know where he lives. Still have to talk to the smoker. But on the west side, I got a lot of things I can return back to the east side with. Like, I still don't know what I'm going to do with the signatures for Everart. So I got to figure that out. But I got the bird to turn into Gart. What else? Lots of stuff to turn. Oh, and I got to go back to the DCA, the closed area. What was it called? Contaminated something. Oh, and I have to get the frozen the ice machine open. So lots of stuff to do. I'm gonna write that down in my game journal once I'm done here. But yeah, plenty of stuff to do. I'm a little bit more invigorated in the game now. I know that last couple I've been kind of down and out on it, but I really enjoyed this one, and that's why this is a particularly longer episode. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. I'll have links down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super week. And I hope you have a super day. Bye!